Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Tanishashantez, and today's the day. A new Apple tutorial is out. I wanted to bring this to you starting off with the cleaning process. Of course, we got our baking soda and apple cider vinegar, and of course you fill the pot up with water. I don't necessarily measure it, but I will say you could probably do half a cup of each, and then fill up the pot to about 16 cups is what I do, depending on how many apples I'm dealing with. But yeah, we are ready to roll. Today we will be focusing on, as you read by the title, Ombre candy apples. How to get multiple colors using one pot, and also we'll touch bases on how to reheat candy that's getting too hard. I know I had a lot of questions, so of course I am here to bring you as many answers as possible. So yeah, we're just trying to mix this up to make sure it's well incorporated before we get the dipping. Of course, we want to make sure this is nice and hot. We got our Granny Smith apples. These are the only apples I dip with, but I know some people dip with different ones. Either way, you do want to make sure the wax is removed. So we're only working with a couple. Why? Because this is just for a tutorial. Nothing that I'm doing to sell or anything like that. As I told you before, I no longer sell apples. So yeah, this is all for fun. So we're going to dip these in the hot water. I'm just kind of getting them lined up, seeing how many I want to clean at a time, because I think I'm going to use half of them for another video. So stay tuned for that one as well. But yeah, let's get these set up. We're trying to get it organized so we know what we're doing. And yeah, we better get to removing some wax, honey. Okay, so right here you do want to make sure that water is boiling. I try to use something like a big strainer spoon. Why? It helps me not only spin the apples around, but make sure that when I pull them out, I drain the hot water, because that hot water gets a little dangerous sometimes. So it just kind of helps me drain the water that's maybe left on the apples before I wipe them off. Because as you know, immediately when I remove these apples, I wipe them off. I do not wait. I do not line them up first. I wipe each one off as I remove it from the water. So take a look. So I usually give them about 10 to 11 seconds in the water before I decide to remove them. Just give the wax time to actually melt off. And then, like I told y'all last vlog, get that rough Walmart $2 set of towels, because it's going to make sure it wipes all that wax off for you, honey. If you get a soft towel, that wax will still be on there. And you will see when they dry the little white residue of wax. I will say this process is a little messy, but I look forward to seeing the splashes of water on my stove. That lets me know the wax is coming off, because it'll immediately turn white. So just, find your way in your comfort zone, but that's kind of what I look for, because it's a lot of splashing and stuff. And if that stuff is still, you can't see anything, then that wax is still on those apples. So just look for stuff like that to make you feel comfortable that the apples are clean. But yeah, we just keep going at it until we get all of these clean, and then we'll be ready to let them sit. Okay, yeah, so all of the apples have been dipped. We're ready to get them all set up and separated. You want to give each apple enough space to kind of get that sap to come out, because, sap is sticky, so they'll stick together. They do make a small little puddle. So what I'm doing is just drying up the excess water that may be out. Just give them their own room to do it. And as you can see, some of them are already sapping. So you may see those little bulbs of sap. Looks like water, but it's not. So a lot of people ask me, why do you need 48 hours? You don't. You can do it in a day if you want to, but please wait 48 hours. It literally saves you so much headache. This is day 1. This is after 24 hours, and they're still not done. So, yeah. You see all of that glistening sap? You want to let these sit a little bit longer. They're starting to puddle at the bottom. That's what we like to see. But I just encourage you to wait a day. So, of course, we are at the 48-hour mark. These apples are ready to be cleaned off. We wipe as much sap off as we can. Really all of it off if you can. Same type of towel, just a different one. And I always wipe the surface because, like I said, they puddle. So I'm just going to place these temporarily on this particular mat. All of this stuff is in my Amazon storefront, by the way. From the candy thermometer, type of sugar I use, the mats and things like that. So if you want to check that out, it'll always be in the description. So yeah, you get these wiped off really good just to make sure you cover your bases, because like I told y'all in the comments, if you've read them, sap does cause the candy to break down after you dip if you don't get it all off. So yeah, we're just making a clean surface, getting these apples wiped off, and then we'll be ready to get started. Okay, y'all, so we're definitely using our wooden sticks. We're now putting them in the apples, and then I'm going right behind with the paper straws to put them on. I didn't show it in here, but I did cut the straws. I always do, to try to prevent them from bending as I dip, because it'll throw you way off. So yeah, just cut the straws as close to the wooden stick level as possible to prevent that from happening to you. Again, all of this is in my Amazon storefront. These wooden sticks are probably the best thing I've ever invested in when it came to apples. I used to use the little white ones. Never. The sap and the juice from the apple breaks those white ones down, and it's not a good look. But yeah, so we're ready to get started. This is my materials that I'm using. As you guys know, I do get my candy coloring, the gel, from Hobby Lobby, because what happens is when you're using red, black, or pink to prevent that medicine taste, I always use the Sunnyside brand. It's a must. Of course, we're doing the 4-1-1 method: 4 cups of sugar, 1 cup of water, 1 cup of karo. I will say I'm just doing a small batch, but I do suggest doubling this when you're working with the ombre effect, because you're only using 1 pot, but you're putting multiple food colorings in. And to prevent, again, the medicine smell or too much food coloring, use a bigger portion. So double the 4-1-1 recipe. So yeah, that's all we're doing here. We're about to get rolling. Of course, this has to sit until it reaches 300 degrees. I try to put my flavor in at 250. Lost track of time a little bit. Don't judge me. But yeah, at 250, put in your flavor in. I use the 8 ounce, so it is 2 drops of flavoring for me for the regular 4-1-1. So of course, what would that do? You will double it if you double this recipe, and do about 4 drops. That's all it takes. Again, all of this is in my Amazon storefront. Even the drop tops that goes with the food coloring. With the flavoring. And I only use Loranns. Can't say much about any other company because I have not tried them yet. But yeah, we're doing bubblegum flavor this time. So that should be fun. The colors go with it. So I decided to do bubblegum. But yeah, we're going to let this sit. I do want to advise to fill up a cup of that cup you use with water, to make sure that you have something to keep that spatula clean, just to prevent any issues when you're dipping it in and out. Also, this, I'm showing you that it does need to reach 300 before you're done. You want to keep looking at it. Do not walk away. Don't go do something else. Please just keep watching it. But we're going to wait and bring this thing to a boil. Okay, so like I said, I was a little tardy to the party, baby. But yeah, at 250, drop your flavoring in. And because we were just about at 300, we're over and ready to dip. So this is a little tricky. This is not the easiest method because you have to be quick on your feet. We're doing ombre. So one apple is going to be one tone, the other is going to be another, the other is going to be another. So a lot of food coloring. That's why I said make sure you double your recipe, even triple it, honestly. It's better to have too much candy than not enough, and too thick or too much food coloring. So again, this is just an example video, so it doesn't look like a lot, but trust me, you need enough candy to do this method. And I'm so glad it happened the way it did, because a lot of people were asking me some people asked me about when the candy cools down, what do? You can reheat the candy. You don't need to get it back up to 300. You can reheat it. And you'll see me do this towards the end. And look, I'm only working with 4 apples. So imagine. But it was really cold in my house, and I did stop for a little bit. My storage ran out, so wouldn't have had to do it if I would have been able to just keep going, but I wanted to capture every moment for y'all, so I had to stop, delete some stuff, all of the craziness. But yes, this is the sunny side color. We're starting with one little drop of pink, neon pink, and you see a little goes a long way. So we're going to do the lightest pink first, and yeah, just keep stirring. I know a lot of people that do candy apples, they add their color while it's cooking. Stopped doing that a while ago, just because I wanted to make sure I got the definite color, and it's been working for me ever since. It is foolproof to just wait until your candy is done. A lot of people say when you stir it, it makes too many bubbles. As you can see, not many bubbles. But yeah, we're about to use this same pot of candy and make 4 different colors. So let's dip our first color. You're looking at a baby pink, light pink, whatever you want to call it. Love this color. And yeah, because of that white we started with, we got our coverage we need, even though it's light. White is tricky, so don't overdo it. I kind of know how to eye it, but don't overdo the white if you can help it. But yeah, so we got our light pink going, and then we're gonna go up a tone for the next apple. So generally, you'll have probably a 12 apple order. So you would do maybe 3 of these. We'll just say 3. Yeah, 3, 6, 9, 12. So we'll do 3, the light color, and you would have been able to go on and do that before you add this other drop. So as you can see, I added another drop. Again, this is a food coloring where a little goes a long way. You do not need much. As you can see, it's way darker. So yeah, this was just from 1 drop. Again, we're stirring it. We still got smooth candy. We're still working. So just visualize yourself dipping 3 apples this color. You just do it, and you do it at a fast pace. Again, I ran out of storage, which sucks so bad, but we got it done. Yeah, so I would do that one, hold it, scrape it, put it down, get another one, do it again, get another one, do it again, and then I'll be on to the next color. So the next color, we do a little bit more because I wanted it a little darker. This is going to end up being the darkest color, and you'll see why in just a second. Like I said, again, a little goes a long way. So as you can see, it's kind of it's not as liquidy, but it's still enough for me to dip. Will it dip 3 like this? Probably not. So this is when you will want to go ahead and put it on the eye. Let it warm up a little bit. Let it get a little more liquidy. Again, you're not looking for it to be back at 300. You're just looking for it to be smooth so you can dip. So, like I said, it don't look like it would be smooth enough for 3, but that 1, it was fine. Now, this next color, this is where you'll see I had to heat it. And I'm showing you all of that because this is really how this would go. Especially if you have a big order. And this is just with the 411 recipe. I can't speak for anyone else's recipe. It's the 411. So this is the fuchsia. This is by Chef Master. It's okay. Chef Master is really thick. You see how it dropped in there? Super thick. That can be hit or miss. And this fuchsia was dark, but not as dark as I thought it would be. So I just kept stirring, and as you can see, my spoon isn't gliding. So I put it back on the eye. Don't be afraid to do that. Always keep your eye on. That way it's still at the temperature you left it. Don't turn it off until you're done dipping, because you're going to need to go back and forth, especially if you have a big order. So that's what happened here. I'm just stirring. I'm looking at my consistency. I'm trying to see how hard it is for me to mix. Once it starts bubbling, that kind of gives you an idea it's ready to be moved off, but not necessarily. So just look at your consistency, do a drip check like that, and it'll tell you when you need to move. So I'm going to move back over to where I was to finish my last apple, and I'll show you the results. Okay, so we're at the last apple now, and we're going to get that thing dipped. As you can see, it's still on a lighter tone, like it gives a little bit lighter. So what I did was move the other one over, because I'm like, wait a minute, this is lighter than the other one, which happens. But I still go with the Sunnyside food coloring. Chef Master, again, it's hit or miss. I do have it in my Amazon storefront, because Sunnyside, unfortunately, I have not been able to find on Amazon. It is at Hobby Lobby, super cheap. But here you have it, guys. We have the pink ombre candy apples. I definitely love this. I love pink, first of all. But yeah, a lot of y'all wanted to know how I package. So here you go. These are the cellophane bags. These are sold at Walmart, the 150 count. I've never had an issue. They're pretty clear. They also sell them at Hobby Lobby. I think they're a little bit more than Walmart sells them for. Like I said, I've never had an issue. You get some that are too small, depending on your apple size. These have never steered me wrong. It has a little yellow sticker on the front, and it says 150. I don't know the brand name. I just know I get them from Walmart. Then, as you can see, my apples have been sitting. They did cool off just a tad bit, but not quite. So once I bag them, I do put them in the refrigerator, open. The bag is not sealed until after they have cooled. This is all for demonstration. Normally, these will go immediately to the fridge after I do this. As you can see, none of the apples stuck to the bag. I didn't have trouble getting it in. It was smooth. My house is a good temperature. Actually, it's only at 72. So it just really depends on where you live, because you know if your house gets too hot. If it does, make sure you turn the air up or down to get a lower temperature while you're working with these apples, and never dip by the stove. Put you a cute little bow, and you're all set, honey. I definitely appreciate the support. Make sure you subscribe.